I love living in America, but the food supply is poison, I think. You know, all the rubbish they put in it. And, you know, you go into just a normal market here. Go into a normal market here, look at the fruit and the veg and look at the meat, and then go and do that in America.
Oh, really?
Night and day.
And today I'm speaking with a friend of mine from United States, Chris. He lived 21 years in LA before moving to Marbella. Today we are in Guadalmansa, New Golden Mile, beachfront. There's an open house for an apartment for $4,750,000. And this is a renovated apartment that is for sale for $20,000 per square meter. And it reminds me that many opportunities are coming to the market now, because beside this urbanization here, you have luxury apartments already offered for $5,000 to $6,000 per square meter, where the best opportunities actually are.
This is one of the most exclusive beachfront communities on the New Golden Mile. Private, beautifully maintained, with tropical gardens, resort-style swimming pools, and direct access to the Mediterranean Sea. The moment you enter, you immediately understand why properties here are so highly sought after. Location has always been the foundation of great real estate, and it's difficult to improve on a location like this. Frontline beach, minutes from Marbella, minutes from Estepona, and surrounded by some of the best beach clubs, restaurants, golf courses, and lifestyle amenities on the Costa del Sol.
And that's why I want to talk about this today, because we are having more and more people looking for investment opportunities here in Marbella. And this is probably the best idea if you are thinking to invest in Marbella, in real estate. By the way, this community, we have the open house today. It's 5-star luxury hotel. They created some rules to limit the access to the communal area for visitors. And even if you want to rent it long term, you have to have the permission from the community. They actually don't allow short-term rentals in this place. If you're gonna walk to the promenade in Marbella and you go the mile especially, we are in Guadalmansa, you're gonna see that this is probably the most beautiful and charming landscape in all these different communities that you have here. So this property is like with sea views, and that's why it's very attractive. But as I mentioned before, if you are looking for a good investment, probably buying a property, renovating it, and reselling it is the best option at the moment in the real estate market, especially in luxury real estate. And today I'm speaking with a friend of mine from United States, Chris. He lived 21 years in LA before moving to Marbella.
When you stand in front of a property like this, it's easy to understand the attraction, the Mediterranean Sea, direct beach access, and a lifestyle that feels effortless. One of the luxuries that many people rarely talk about is simplicity. Being able to leave your home and walk for miles along the coastline. No schedule, no rush, just space to think.
So after 21 years living in LA, what would you say that is the best thing about Marbella comparing to California?
I think that Marbella has got the edge on lifestyle to certainly Los Angeles. I mean, Southern California is pretty special. There's a lot you can do in Southern California. I think it's one of the best places in the world to live. But what I think Marbella beats is the beach side of Marbella is incredible. Like what we're walking on now, this paseo that's 20, 30 miles long, with all the chiringuitos along and the beaches, that doesn't exist in LA, even though they've got incredible beaches.
Really?
One of the biggest misses in Los Angeles, there's no beach bars.
Really?
There's no like beach clubs, there's no chiringuitos,
cool.
and honestly, I don't know why. And I think the weather, obviously here, I think the weather in Marbella, certainly recently, is better than Los Angeles. Los Angeles starts to get cold in the winter, honestly. It won't be forever, but the food, I think the food, again, I love living in America, but the food supply is poison. I think, you know, all the rubbish they put in it. And, you know, you go into just a normal market here, go into a normal market here, look at the fruit and the veg and look at the meat, and then go and do that in America.
Oh, really?
Night and day. The food here is, you know, incredible by default. And over there, you've really got to search out to get good food.
That's very interesting. Let me ask you about the security, because I know many people are feeling not safe in America nowadays, in California also. Comparing to Marbella, how do you feel?
I think that that's definitely real. You know, the crime in Los Angeles has got worse, I would say, in the last 4 or 5 years. There's changes happening right now, or there's elections right now for a new mayor, and I hope that somebody comes in and that will change, you know, what's happening with that. I know there's crime everywhere, but it certainly feels safer here. I lived here for 6 years before, living in America for 20, and Marbella always felt very safe to me. I know there is obviously an element here, but if you're not involved with that element, I don't think you feel it. You know, there's petty crimes, but I think certainly I hope that there's been an increase in LA over the years, which I hope changes, because I love Los Angeles. I want it to be back to where it was. But I think Marbella affords a really beautiful, beautiful lifestyle.
And you probably still have many friends there, many contacts, right?
I do. In Los Angeles, well, I've lived in both places. I'm very fortunate to have incredible contacts both in Los Angeles and here. I have friends, obviously, in the UK as well. I feel very at home here. I love Marbella, as I say. I'm a big golfer. And that's more accessible. That's really, you know, Los Angeles, if you're a golfer, it's hard. You know, it's not very accessible to play golf in LA unless you've got bazillions.
Why?
Because it's expensive.
Very expensive, much more than here.
And not even expensive, it's just hard to get in. The clubs you want to play, it's hard to get in. Here you've got 50 courses and some of the best courses on the planet that you can rock up and play. I love that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me more about your idea of your business, because you started something that you realize it really needs more attention and it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit more about this and why did you start this business?
There was a time when people moved to Marbella for a holiday. Today, many are moving here for a completely different reason. They are building a life. Over the last few years, I've noticed something interesting. More and more of my clients are coming from the United States, California, Florida, Texas, New York, and many of them are asking the same question. Could Marbella become our next home?
Then when I came to Spain and I saw how disjointed and unregulated the portals are here, I wanted to try and, I think that's a huge opportunity to try and fix and provide a solution for those problems. I think what happens now is nobody regulates the data. There's absolutely no verification of who lists what. Yeah. So you have this complete mess and the wild west of like anyone listing anything. If you're a buyer and you go onto the public portals, I think the public portals owe it to the public to verify and to police what they're showing them, and that doesn't happen. And so as a buyer now, you're confused. You get on these portals and you see the same house listed 10 times. If you want to speak to the listing agent, you can't, and that's a problem. The sellers, they lose all control over the story being told on their behalf, because now you've got agents that they didn't engage that are showing their house, changing the pictures. That shouldn't happen. You know, you want to engage an agent and have them tell the story that you want to tell. And then the agents that have got the listing, those buyers, the leads that come should be going to, that's the gold. That's the reward of having the listing. And that just doesn't happen. So we built the NLS.com to fix all of that.
Amazing.
Simple as that. And I think it starts with the portals. And if the that's why we're the only portal regulating the data. And we want to create a more compelling place for buyers and sellers to market and shop for their homes. And by doing that, we'll hopefully create more credibility and more value for the agents. Because ultimately, Deco, that's what my client is, the real estate agent. Everything that we do with our platform is designed around making the agents more valuable, more relevant, and more profitable. They're my first customer.
For someone arriving from Los Angeles, New York, or Miami, Marbella often feels surprisingly familiar, international, cosmopolitan, connected, yet somehow far more relaxed. Safety is another reason families choose Marbella. It's not something people always mention first, but it's often one of the reasons they stay. It's not unusual to see families walking together late in the evening, children playing outside, restaurants full, the beach still active even after sunset.
I was actually reading an article yesterday about Marbella's real estate market, and it's becoming more expensive, and the luxury market is growing faster than Ibiza, New York, and I see many brands like now Armani is going to launch a development here. We have Dolce & Gabbana, Lamborghini. Yeah. How do you see it? Because you lived in Marbella 6 years and then you moved to LA 3 more years and now you are back to Marbella.
Yes.
How do you see it in the future and luxury estate? How is it going?
Marbella has obviously transformed since I've been here. It's an all year round world class location now. I think the Puente Romano's done an incredible job of that. Now, you know, you have some of the best brands, best restaurants, the best people in the world want to be here. The fundamentals of why Marbella is incredible will never change. Climate, accessibility, facilities, you know, that will never change. I think that what I hear a lot is like agents that have been a long time saying, oh, these prices. Well, the market will dictate that.
Exactly.
And, you know, I think if there's a certain school of thought, if they pay the number, then that's the market. And one thing I will say, like in watching LA over the last 20 years, I can give you specific houses where someone said, like, that house, you'll never get that number.
And then they got it.
And 10 years later, they didn't just get it, it's now doubled. Like, and I remember I sat a house in 2007 that was owned by a guy called Byron Allen. Byron Allen owns BET Television, one of the most significant TV guys in the world, frankly. Super successful fella. And he had this lot on a street called Nightingale. It was 3,500 feet, the house, and he was asking $7 million at the time. And I sat that house every Sunday for a year, and we didn't sell it. Because he wanted his number. Byron wanted his number. And everyone was like, we're not doing it. It eventually sold. If you tried to buy that lot today, just the dirt, not the house, you'd probably be looking at between $15 and $20 million. And so, and again, everyone back then was like, you'll never get that number. Simon Fuller bought a house, the guy from 19 Management on Tanager Way for $7 million. It was the same thing. It was like $3,000 a foot. And was like, that'll never be done. No, it was $2,000 a foot, sorry. You'll never get $2,000 a foot. That's impossible. He got $2,000 a foot for this. Everyone's like, no one will ever get $2,000 a foot, ever. That's ridiculous. And then the Minecraft guy bought the house on Hillcrest for $75 million, and that was $3,000 a foot. And then that's the new number. Markets change. And Marbella's really attractive.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any less attractive.
Yeah.
And so I think there's still room. I think there's still value here when you compare it to those locations. And, you know, I think to a certain extent the market will decide.
I'm actually working with some investors at the moment, and then we look at the numbers, right? Like this open house, we just saw this apartment today. It's 20,000 per square meter, and we have some properties around here. I did a search before coming to the open house. There are some very interesting apartment, beachfront complex, very good like that one, for 5,000 to 6,000 per square meter. So I see a huge potential of renovation. Like that property was renovated, but after you do small things, very superficial makeup,
yes,
you can generate another feeling of the house, another value.
No question.
Especially for the people the rich buyers that come here for 2 or 3 days to buy something. They want to have the house prepared. They don't want to be messing around with reforms or renovations.
I agree.
So this is a huge market, and I see a huge potential on that.
I agree with that. And I tell you one thing that frustrates me when I see developers not go the extra mile. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. When you're trying to sell a house, really any house, but certainly when you get into the nosebleed numbers, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus, when a buyer comes for that house, that you can't give them any excuses. Like you can't give them any excuses. When you don't finish the basement, you know, there's no cinema, there's no gym, there's no spa because you want them to do it. That's such a miss. It's probably costing you $1 million. Would it cost you $500,000 to do it? But it's actually cost you $1 million. It's 1.5 is what you've missed out on, because now they're going to chip you on the price. You want them to walk in, fall in love, and write you the number.
Exactly.
And I see that a lot, and I think that's a huge miss.
Yeah.
I agree with you. You know, one of the things in terms of where do I see the potential, you know, in Marbella and what areas? Look, I think the answer I would give to that is not necessarily a good one, because I think where the opportunities are, because nobody shares the sold data here. So you don't have access. Like I don't know what that one sold for or what that one sold for. In the US, you can see the whole, and not just the US, in places like Sweden. You have access to the market data. It's an opportunity, but it's not necessarily a fair one, because you can now pick up units where that seller doesn't know necessarily what the market number is, and maybe is undervaluing the house. And if you can find, and that's obviously an opportunity for buyers, but I'm not sure that it's necessarily one that's a good thing that happens. I'd love to see the sold data become publicly available. I think it would be, again, it would go to helping elevate, create a more regulated and more verified infrastructure for everybody.
It's a huge potential we see on the real estate market, also regarding this kind of regulations from the government and the Spain as a country to regulate it, help people to be safer in this transaction.
For sure.
Imagine starting your day with a walk by the sea, a coffee overlooking the Mediterranean, and sunshine almost every month of the year. For many people, that's the real luxury. Whether you are looking for a lifestyle investment, a family home, or simply a different pace of life, Marbella continues to attract people from every corner of the world. And perhaps after today's video, you will understand why.
So did you study in US, right, for being an agent there, right?
Yes, yeah, of course.
It's not like here, of course. It's
No.
different. You have to study. In Brazil also, I studied for 6 months.
There's my real estate license.
Oh,
There's
really?
my- yeah,
Let me
yeah,
see
yeah.
it. How long did you have to study for having this
God,
license?
it was like 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
And you still pay some fees every year to be a member? Or
You have to pay fees to be a member of, there's a few different associations, the National Association of Realtors, and then in California, there's the California Association of Realtors, then in Beverly Hills, there's the Beverly Hills Real Estate Association, I think it's called. There's plenty of them. There's a lot of associations in the US, probably too many, frankly.
Too many.
You know, we're going to look at how we can bring a similar structure here as well and give agents, obviously it wouldn't be mandatory and it wouldn't be a government accreditation because we can't do that. But what we can do is we can provide an academy where agents can show that they've done a certain amount of study. And hopefully that will have weight with their buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
And we're going to be introducing that very shortly. It's going to be called our NLS Academy.
But especially the experience and the knowledge they will have to help the clients. That's the main thing.
It's-
And I really like it that because I see as an agent here, I miss this kind of things, trainings and events for real estate,
I mean,
for the people to connect and get more knowledge,
It's-
add value.
again, it all comes down to credibility. The whole thing, like, do you know what you're talking about? Are you a trusted source? And, you know, again, any mechanisms and tools that we can provide that help agents get more credibility and, you know, generate more trust with their clients, we want to provide those things, Nico.
Where are you living now?
I live just outside of Port Banús right now. So I tell you this, so when I came down here, I wanted to be able to walk. I wanted to be able to do this. I wanted to be close to the Paseo. I think this is a beautiful, as I say, I think where Marbella is really strong is on this side of the road. And, you know, the beachfront stuff, just from a lifestyle standpoint, is stunning. Like, look at this. Coastline's glorious. The sea's like a pond. And you've got chiringuitos dotted all up and down. You can go and get some like sardines from the barbecue. I mean, sign me up, take my money.
And you don't have that in US, right?
You don't have
that's
that
funny.
in the US, which is such a miss. Somebody, if you're watching this from the US, fix it. Ridiculous.
You live in Porto Banús now, right?
Yeah. And by the way, I love it. I love it. People poo-poo it because they're like, oh, it's the port in the daytime. It's fabulous. And hey guys, how are you? And then at night time, there's obviously bits of it that you don't, but I don't go there anyway then. And I can walk to the front, I can walk along the Golden Mile, I can walk to San Pedro, I go to the gym in San Pedro. My office is round the corner. For me right now, I really like it. I think there will come a time when I want to go further back and, you know, enjoy a bit more serenity, but for what I'm looking for right now, it's perfect.
For many people, Marbella represents a different definition of success. Less stress, more freedom, more experiences, and more time with the people who matter most. At the same time, Marbella continues to attract investors from all over the world, not because they are chasing trends, but because they are investing in locations that are difficult to replicate. The reality is simple. There will never be more beachfront land. And that's exactly why properties like this continue to attract attention from buyers around the world.
Thank you very much for your attention and help me to bring this important information for our audience here in YouTube.
You're a gentleman, Deco. Thank you very much for having me.
Man.
Thank
Nice
you
to
very
meet you,
much.
man.
It's been a lot of fun.